Hello again, everybody. It's Jim here from the Obesity channel with another update. Uh, it's another banner day in Chicagoland. Temperature upper 30s, winds in the 30-mile-an-hour range, and it's rainy. So absolutely fantastic spring day. Uh, so I thought I'd give an update. It's been a couple weeks since I put up a video, and I've been doing some thinking and some tweaking, and I do have kind of some news, things I'm working on. So I thought I'd report in and share it with y'all. Uh, my last video was an update on my carnivore diet, a 6-month update. And if any of you saw that, you'll remember that I reported maybe some slightly odd trends in my weight uh, towards towards recent weeks, over the last, let's say, 6 weeks. And it seemed to be correcting and then not correcting. It was kind of going back and forth. Understand something. I've been tracking my weight daily for, going on 2 years. So I have a good feel for what's normal, what's a normal cycle. There's of course, there's daily cycles and there's weekly cycles. I'm kind of in touch with the trend, and I graph it, and I stay real close to it because that's really what I'm interested in. I want to study this and optimize my health and make sure that I've got the right plan going. And in recent weeks, I just noticed the trend was different. It was like I was the weight was wanting to come back, wanting to come on a little bit. And understand, when I say come on, I'm talking about I've come back, I think, no more than 5.5 pounds off my low. So, okay, this isn't any kind of a huge deal. In fact, I'm sure there'll be people scratching their heads saying this guy's nuts for worrying about little items like that. But like I said, I know when the trend is not right, and I'm not going to wait months and months and months and see it go 5 and 10 and 12 pounds. I want to kind of arrive at what's a lifestyle that is more forgiving, that I can kind of, stop paying so close attention and just live. So if it takes time to study it and optimize it, I don't care. This is what I'm interested in. So after the last update, it seemed to reset a little bit, and then it took off again. And I found myself, I think last week, towards the end of the week, with hitting a high, like let's say a 2-month high. I think I was up to like 175.5 pounds. And I said, okay, that's enough of this. I need to rethink this. I need to take a step back and maybe make some tweaks and try to understand this a little bit. Why is this happening? And I came up with a few ideas. First of all, I think something happens to all of us, and I just call it like an eating creep. Um, you know, you add one thing to the daily to my daily meal. I might add, let's say, a little cheese, and then okay, so that becomes a habit. And then I add some pork rinds, all right, and that's a new habit. And then I add pork rinds plus butter, all right, that becomes normal. And it just keeps going like this until I sort of lose track of what's normal, and I step back and look at, well, oh, suddenly what's normal is expanded a little bit. I've got all these extra little doodads going on, and it's crept up a little bit. So um, there's that. I think was maybe a partial contributor to it, and so, well, maybe I can pay closer attention. Uh, then let's see, maybe I should change my diet. Maybe I need to go back to add some plant foods to go back to what I was doing during my weight loss days. And I thought about that uh, and vetoed that idea. I don't really want to go back to plants. I'm happy without them. I like my diet. I'm going to say it mainly a carnivore diet with very few exceptions. I'm in animal-based foods. This is where I want to be. So no, I'm not going to change the diet. Um, I even considered, should I get off of the OMAD, the one meal a day? Should I break it up and have smaller meals and eat more than once a day? And no, I really don't want to do that either. I'm fine with that. I'm happy with that. I said many times how I like the one meal a day for simplicity. And so no, I'm not going to change that. Then I thought more and said, well, what's the other main component of my lifestyle change that brought about my weight loss? And I said, well, it was the fasting. And if you'll remember, if you go back to the beginning of my journey, towards the very beginning, one of the big transition points was I did a 14-day fast. And if you recall, I've said this on that video, and I've said it, repeated it many times. After that 14-day fast, I have never been the same person. I've I've changed, and I continue to change throughout the process. Uh, and I thought about that. All right, fasting, that was a key, and I did a number of prolonged fasts. I'm going to say I did 4 of them in total. Between 4 and 5 days, I did 11 days, and I did a 14-day fast. In addition to that, I went through about a month and a half where I did an intermittent type fasting routine where I fasted weekly, on a weekly basis, let's say 1 day a week or 2 days a week. And that has changed over the past. I haven't done really any fasting over the past more than 6 months. I kind of dropped that part of it. And so it started to dawn on me that maybe that's the change. Maybe that's, I can't really put my finger on it, but maybe I've acclimated. My body's acclimated now, and I really need to revisit that and get back into some type of fasting. So with the decision made to bring back some fasting, um, I had to decide what kind of fasting, how should I incorporate it? It seemed to make sense that might be the missing element, and I might need to bring fasting into the lifestyle in a more regular basis. I think it brings something. I've had this concept that it's good to have a swing between like a feast and famine type feel. It's good to feast and eat well when you're eating, but then it needs to be balanced by times where you take a break, you eat nothing, go on a fast, and learn about hunger, experience hunger, face hunger, wrap your arms around hunger, get used to it, get comfortable with it, and it makes you tougher, it makes you stronger, um, and it changes you. It gives you some unique perspectives, and I think it kind of resets your body metabolism. It helps to push that. You've heard of the idea of having a body having a set point where it tries to maintain at a certain level. I believe fasting helps move that set point. So I used it during my weight loss journey to break through plateaus, and it always seemed to help. So I started to understand that maybe that was the missing ingredient. I need to bring that back. I thought that maybe my 24-hour a day fast, my OMAD type fast, would be enough, let's say in a maintenance setting, but maybe not. So what type of fasting? I gave some serious thought last weekend to doing another prolonged fast, to fast for, I was thinking, a week or maybe even 10 days. In fact, I had convinced myself to do that on at least two occasions. I'm going to say Saturday and then again on Monday. Um, and as I got closer to it, I backed off and said, no, it, it just, it's not appealing to me to do the prolonged fast right now. And I'll tell you why is because I just enjoy my meals so much. My daily meatomatic feast, it's so enjoyable that when you fast and you don't have that, it's real. There's a real void. There's a real emptiness. It's actually, if you do it for days, it's quite depressing because there's just there's a big part of your day that is gone. And yeah, sure, you can try to stay busy and to pretend that you can stay busy only so much. But day after day, it becomes a grind. And I experienced that on the last prolonged fast I did. It became a grind. And so I walked up to the edge there a few times and decided, no, I'm not going to do a prolonged fast. So what I came up with and what I did do is I fasted this week 2 days, on Tuesday and Thursday, which is a departure for me. Normally, when I would fast 2 days in a week, I would do them back to back in order to maximize the total length of fasting time, to go deeper into the fast. This week I chose a different approach. I didn't eat Tuesday, I ate Wednesday, then I didn't eat again on Thursday, and I ate Friday, which was yesterday. This is Saturday. And so really what that amounts to is, combined with a one meal a day eating, it meant during the midweek I had two basically 48-hour fasts. And I did that this week, and you know what? It was great. It was a little, especially on the Tuesday fast, the first one. Yeah, I missed having my meal, but there was really any great hunger. I can cruise through. I mentioned this before. I can skip a meal, and it's not a big deal. The next day, I did notice, there's a little bit of an emptiness, and there's kind of you feel a little bit of a buzz. I call it a buzz, a body buzz. You just feel a little bit buzz going on. Everything just seems to vibrate a little bit. But it's a good feeling. You have a kind of an energetic, positive feeling when you're doing this. And I've mentioned this before. When I do a fast, and especially on that second day, when I'm 48 hours fasted, which was Wednesday night before dinner and Friday night before dinner, I make sure when I'm the deepest into the fast, just before I eat, that I do a run, and I run for, a good, try to maintain a solid pace. And I like doing that fasted running. When I did it last summer, all through the summer, I believe that was one thing that really contributed to changing me and moving me further and further away from my past, my carbaholic fast, if you will. Um, Again, I'll say it. I believe the long prolonged fast and then my fasted runs, which weren't necessarily a prolonged fast, they could be just a 48-hour or a 72-hour fast. That fasted activity changed me, and it's why I feel confident now that I'm never going back to my old lifestyle, because I don't feel that anymore. Even given every opportunity, I'm not going to go for carbs. I have no desire for sweets or any kind of junk food or whatever. I'm beyond that. So I want to state the reason for that. is, I feel, in part because I've done so much in terms of the fasting and the fasted running. So anyway, I did that this week, and I had a good week. I enjoyed it. I remembered what it was like. I'd sort of forgotten that feeling of being in that state of fasting and combined with the running. I'd forgotten some of the details and some of the specific feelings that go on, feelings and changes that go on. And so I'm going to maintain this now. I'm going to do it another a couple weeks to try to ingrain the habit again, and then maybe look at, sometime over the next few weeks, decide what kind of a routine, uh, kind of intermittent fasting do I want to have, let's say next month. I mean, I don't think I don't have to fast 2 days a week indefinitely. I'm just going to do a little recharge, and then perhaps it'll be, I mean, I'm thinking maybe something like a fast 4 days a month, uh, maybe one day a week for a couple weeks, maybe another week I do 2 days, and maybe another week no fasting at all, something like that. So just that there's some variety. Uh, I have a sense that every single time that I do exactly the same thing for a long period of time, there's sort of my body reacts, gets comfortable, and has a new set point, and it just wants to change. So I want to keep some kind of a change, and that's my plan now. It's going to be with the fasting. So yeah, this week has got me fired up again. Uh, I really enjoyed this week. The fast did. It, I mean, it did change my weight. Of course, I dropped several pounds, and it looks like that's automatically corrected. Um, and I mean, it'll go up again because I'm going to eat the next 4 days in a row, so it'll climb up a little bit. But based on everything I know from what I experienced the last year and a half, um, I expect now that things to get back to normal. I don't know why I just kind of this didn't dawn on me before. It seems so obvious now, but it is what it is. So that's really the extent of my update today, just to say that I'm still doing well. Um, uh, I'm doing just adding now intermittent fasting um, to the mix again. Um, Not any long fast, just I'm going to add some weekly fasting, and I'll report back in a few weeks on those changes. I'm going to try to keep this video a little shorter this time. I had some complaints. People were saying, get to the point, or wrap it up sooner. Your videos are too long, so I'm going to try to make a shorter one. But before I go, I do want to touch on something and connect with, again, I mentioned before a YouTube channel called OMAD Revolution, and that's Joe. He's got a weight loss story on there that his weight loss journey is incredible. It is so similar to mine, uh, except he started his like 3 years before mine. Um, he started, I think, like 10 pounds higher than I was, and I think I'm now like 10 or 15 pounds lower than where he ended up. But the thing is, he was a one meal a day. He and I've forgotten. I started watching some of his videos last night. Some rewatching them. I watched them all uh, over a year ago when I first came onto his channel, OMAD Revolution. I watched them all and absorbed them all. The thing is, what I realize now, I was still right in the middle of my weight loss journey when I watched him. So a lot of things he said just maybe didn't, I wasn't able to relate to him at the time. And I had forgotten how much he talked about fasting. At the time, I was focused more on how to do the OMAD and OMAD strategies and stuff like that. So that's really what I was focused on if I was doing OMAD correctly. But last night, after I'd had this week of where I added back intermittent fasting, I just went back to his site and was browsing through, looking up, some of his old videos again, rewatching them, and I was floored because there I found basically the manual, the instruction guide that would have led me in this right direction. And I'm not skilled enough with videos to put it up on the screen and to dissect it right now. I'm gonna link to two of Joe's videos in the comments area. In one of them, he talks about how the same thing I just went through. He talks about how fasting changes you and how if you don't do it on a regular enough basis, that you lose touch with it and you sort of forget, um, you know, the nuances. And that's exactly what I just explained, what I just lived through. Uh, it's uncanny to see. It's kind of chilling to see something that you've lived through and experienced, which seems very unique and very personal. And there's really nobody else that I know that I can talk to that has done what I've done or experienced the type of things I've done. But you go on a YouTube channel and you listen to somebody like Joe describe exactly word for word the experience that I've had. It's I don't know. It's hard to describe that feeling, but one video describes that I'm going to link to describes this uh, realization that you need to stick with it. You can't just be a part-time faster or experiment with it a little bit, and then you might learn intellectually what fasting does, but if you don't keep up with it to some extent, you lose it. You lose uh, you lose the real close sense of what it is. So I have a feeling I'm not doing it justice to describe it. I'm not the best verbal person, as anybody that subscribes to my channel might know by now. But listen to Joe's video. I linked to one of them, which is, I think it's called Spells or something about spells. It has something to do with Dungeons and Dragons, but which is kind of funny. But then another one of his videos that I'm going to link to describes the way fasting changed him in the many ways, and I he dissects it all better than I could. I've kind of listed these ways before, both mentally and physically, uh, and it's just I watch that video and I shake my head all the way through, and it echoes what I said previously. Fasting has changed me. I've never been the same. And if you listen to Joe's video, he says exactly word for word, pretty much the same thing. He's never been the same since he started fasting. And, it's not like I'm just saying fasting is probably something, you might want to look at. You might want to incorporate in your life. Uh, it's certainly not for everybody, but it does change you in profound ways. So let's leave it at that. Anyway, OMAD Revolution, uh, this was, I wasn't aware, I did my own thing. I didn't like copy Joe's formula or anything. I was well halfway on my journey when I discovered his channel. And, uh, and like I said, I watched all his videos. It wasn't like I copied his method. We just ended up doing pretty much with the exception for I ate kind of a different kind of diet. We pretty much had the same routine, OMAD plus some fasting and some, maybe some real discipline, a disciplined approach, maybe sometimes a tough love approach, to the whole weight loss journey. So again, OMAD Revolution, check it out. Um, Anybody who's like stuck for ideas or feel like you've tried everything, um, it's it's another way to kind of follow my journey. If you look on all of Joe's videos, it pretty much documents better than I have on mine, I might add. Um, it gives you a template to maybe explore. So I think with that, I'm going to wrap this up. I said I'd try to make it short today, and that's about it. I don't have anything else. Uh, Again, thank you everybody for watching. I'm thrilled with the support, and the number of subscribers is growing. Uh, I can't believe it. It shot up so much after the last video, and my last video had so many views. It's maybe going to be my highest viewed video yet. The one my last video where I did the race, and I kind of think I took liberties with some music in there, and I had some complaints on it, but it's generated a lot of views. So thank you very much for that. I hope you're getting you folks are getting something out of my videos. I'm trying to be open and candid so that perhaps somebody can be helped. And like, subscribe, ask questions. I like all that. As you know, I try to answer all the questions I can. Um, and if you got ideas for new videos, I feel like I'm running out of ideas, but when they come up, I will come back and add some more content. So that's it. It's time to get down for dinner. So until next time, everyone, take it easy.